All right, every channel and their mother is reviewing this new Deftones album, but here's why my take will be different. This is my review of the new Deftones album, Private Music. Now, before we start, I want to be upfront about my history with the band. Back in the early 2000s, I was a big fan of nu metal. I loved Korn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Slipknot, all those bands. But Deftones, it wasn't really my thing. They didn't click with me. The music was too different, and I guess I didn't like them that much back then. Years later, though, I gave them another chance, and this band really clicked with me. I like the albums White Pony, Diamond Eyes. I think those are my favorites. To me, those two records are the best of what this band can do. This band can be heavy, emotional, the songs are layered, but the songs are still catchy. But on the other hand, I never really connected with the more shoegaze style albums like Saturday Night Wrist or Gore. That sound didn't pull me in the same way. I did enjoy their last album, Ohms, from 2020. I thought it was a really good album. I didn't review it because it was before I started my channel. But here's the deal. Yes, everyone is going to review this album, but I'm going to give you my perspective, someone who was late to the Deftones party, but who values certain sides of their sound more than others. With that being said, let's get into it. The album starts with My Mind is a Mountain. It's a solid choice for the first single. Not overlong, it moves quickly. It immediately sets the tone for the record. There's a nice mix of heavy and light dynamics. The riffs have that angry bite, and Chino's vocals bring some contrast, a good opening punch. But this goes into Locked Club, and the flow from track one into the song really works well. This leans more into that shoegaze side of their sound, but it didn't lose me. I like the almost spoken style vocals, and especially the drumming. It's complex and it keeps your attention. The echo effect in the vocals gives the track a floating quality, but it still has some weight. Moving on to track 3, Ecdysis. This one stood out. It's more electronic sounding, but not in a distracting way. The bass guitar is especially cool here, very present. The riffs have a thrashy edge to it, which surprised me. The whole song feels spacey, but still carries energy. Moving on to track number 4, Infinite Source. This is where things slow down. Very shoegaze and spacey, reminded me of Gore or Saturday Night Wrist. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of this type of sound for them, but I still enjoy to hear. It's more of that dreamy, atmospheric track, something you have to sit with. It might take some time to grow on me. But anyway, moving on to track number 5 is Souvenir. This is the longest song in the album, just over 6 minutes. It's dense. There's layers of guitars, there's atmosphere to pull you in. You could almost get lost in it. And then out of nowhere, they hit you with these crushing guitar riffs that break through all this haze, and Chino's vocals are more on the dreamy side, and he goes into some really high notes, and the shift towards the end of the track is dramatic. It suddenly feels like church music, which was unexpected, but it worked. Moving on to track 6, CXZ. This one hits hard. It's heavier, closer to that 90s sound with albums like Around the Fur and Adrenaline. At the same time, this still has that modern, spacey textures layered in. The drumming stood out again, even throwing in some hip-hop style beats. The vocals stay more atmospheric, which creates a strange but effective contrast with the instrumentation. So the first half of the album is strong. The songs feel connected. When you play them in order, it's not just random tracks, it just feels very cohesive. Now, moving on to the second half of the album. This second half takes things in some new directions. Some moments worked better than others, and there's going to be one surprise that kind of took me back to an album that's one of my favorites. But I'll get to that in a second. Moving on to track number 7, I Think About You All the Time. This one dials things down again. It's softer, has clean guitars, has a dreamy atmospheric sound. It gives me that Koi no Yokan vibes, very shoegaze heavy, almost like new age music at points. The guitars switch between the clean and distorted, so there's some movement, but overall it's a softer piece. And moving on to that is the second single, Milk of the Madonna. And this was a good choice for the second single. It's one of the heavier tracks in the album. It has riffs that lean back towards their 90s roots. For me, it's one of the more memorable songs. It balances aggression with softer moments, and it keeps things interesting. And now for the song that really caught me by surprise, called Cut Hands. And I say that it's the most nu metal sounding track on this album, Private Music. Honestly, I think it could have even been a White Pony type of song. The riffs, the hip hop influenced rhythms, and the vocal phrasing, it all goes back to that early 2000s. But it's not just nostalgia, they also experiment with weird sounds, and they throw in some classic rock style guitar moments, so I thought that was pretty cool. Moving on to track 10, Metal Dream. It's kind of a strange one because it says metal, but it's not really metal. The guitars have almost like a funky sound, and you don't really hear that with the Deftones. That's what I got from it. But the vocals are dreamy, and it makes the contrast more noticeable. I wouldn't call it a standout, but it's a decent track. And we get to the closer, track 11, Departing the Body, and this is a 6-minute track. It's very ambient and electronic driven. The guitars are soft. It has this background texture. Chino sings in this low baritone voice, which is rare for him. I don't really hear him do that much. It gives the song this darker, more grounded feel. It's very shoegaze, very modern. Not a big heavy closer, but more of like this drifting fade out. So that's the full album. Like I said in the beginning, my perspective is different. Because I wasn't a fan during the nu metal days, I came into Deftones much later. I've always preferred their heavier, more focused records, but with that context, here's how Private Music worked for me. I would say in general, it's a very well-rounded record. It balances heaviness and atmosphere in a way it feels intentional. Some songs are immediate, others need time to grow. Say possibly their best album since Diamond Eyes. It also works best as a whole, and I think that really makes it a strong Deftones record. And let me mention the album art, because I don't talk about the covers too much, but I like the snake, and it's the best snake cover since Alice Cooper's Killer album, so that says a lot. Final score, 8.5 out of 10. Check out my review of White Pony. I'm going to stick it right here. Please like this video. Helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. And I do lots of other stuff. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.